Hello, and welcome to another Super No Vacancy edition of Wrestling is Her. It's been an amazing week inside the world of pro wrestling, a couple of true supercards, awesome Stardom shows, some WWE stuff, and what we don't have? Well, we don't have any chick magnets.
Hey.
Well, we have no punks.
All right, but there's definitely no punks.
So yes, hello again, I'm Raja, he's John. We have a glorious driving amount to cover, so let's get after it.
I see what you did there.
Oh, man.
The glorious driving.
I love the glorious driver.
Unless
And this episode is just like taking one.
you had a little Kimura, right? A little Hana.
A little Hana Kimura Tiger Lily action.
Yeah, a little Tiger Lily.
That was a very nice shout out for her birthday.
Yes.
From Julia.
Very cool.
We will talk about that.
We will talk about
when
that.
When we get there.
It's coming up, though. Don't bury it.
But first, I think there's some other things we need to talk about. Just little here and there things.
Here and there.
Before we get into the meat and potatoes of this episode.
Tidbits.
I just want to start by mentioning that on September 9th, Impact is filming their 1000th episode.
Oh, my God.
For television,
wow.
Which is an incredible milestone.
It really is.
1,000 episodes.
I wonder how many channels that's went through. Like,
it's hard to tell.
It's probably like if you took any show that's ever made it to 1,000 episodes and you divided that out with, how many networks it's been on
right.
and how many people have actually watched it, it's probably interesting.
It probably is.
But let me say this. All right, because of you, I have recently got into some classic Impact.
Yes, we've been having fun with that.
The funny thing about all of it is that the original NWA TNA, I got to be backstage at some and, was really, really close to a couple of people that were doing well there.
Yeah.
And, so it was such an obtainable thing.
It was. It's right there.
I was obviously watching it. I had to buy the pay-per-views every week because of somebody coming to the house and wanting to watch their match and whatnot.
Right, yes, of course.
I know Bubba's sitting there right now. Hi, Bubba. I know you're sitting there right now going, laughing, giggling. I can hear the laugh. He has a priceless laugh, actually. And
it's the best kind. Brian
Wayne. Pro wrestling extraordinaire.
Yes.
You'll see him comment and snipe on some of our stuff. So anyway,
at Impact 1000, they have some legends coming back for a women's match. Awesome Kong and Gail Kim are going to be there, teaming up with Trinity and the returning Jordan Grace.
Oh, there you go.
To go against Deonna Purrazzo, Giselle Shaw, Savannah Evans, and Angelina Love. And each of those teams is going to have one more mystery partner to make it a 10-woman tag.
Well, they don't have Dump, though, do they?
No, they don't have Dump. They need Dump.
Yes.
That should be one of the mystery partners.
Everybody needs Dump. That's another hole that we have really went into because shame on us.
Dump Matsumoto is...
We had some 90s Joshi.
Yes.
But really getting back to that 80s Joshi, where the big time primetime numbers, the 10 ratings and the packed out superstars, the top 10 singles,
screaming at the Crush Gals.
Yeah, the Crush
That's
Gals.
What we've been doing.
I mean, just absolute insanity with the Beatlemania of the Crush Gals.
Oh man.
And we just wanted to do it justice. So, some watch-alongs in the future coming up and just to really try for anyone else out there that are really like, where do you jump on, right?
Right.
Why not jump on top?
Yeah, why not start at the pinnacle?
Yeah, the absolute pinnacle that we've tried to chase that dragon,
It's hard to know where to start with that time period.
Yeah,
because everything's good.
And it's just so much. I mean.
It is. It's a lot.
But it's wonderful because you guys, if you know, you know. And I would think that a lot of you do know if you tune into this show.
Right.
But if you don't know and you're just really into, the Stardom stuff, which is great, and you're just really into anything like the American stuff and you've been wanting to learn a little bit about Joshi, that's also awesome. But let me just tell you, you have no idea. You have no clue how big 80s Japanese female professional wrestling actually is.
Yeah.
and what kind of boundaries they broke and what they
The
did.
numbers they were doing.
Jesus
Dear
Christ.
Lord.
And if it hadn't been for the, it makes me mad.
I know.
It makes me mad.
It makes me mad too.
They
were so dumb.
Mandatory retirement age of 26.
Oh, right when you're getting to the good stuff.
Yeah, you're not even there.
You're still cooking at that
you're
point.
You're still a moron.
Yeah.
Okay? And you're not to, as a pro wrestler, I know as a guy, I didn't even start getting it.
Yeah.
For a decade.
Right.
I mean, that's when I really started getting it.
Yeah.
Things just made sense. Things that people used to yell at the sky about, and I didn't know why. I realized, maybe I should tell more of a story. Maybe I could tell a story, and it wouldn't even matter what I did in a promo going into it.
Right.
I could do it all in the ring.
Oh,
and
amazing.
It's magical when you see it happen, and you see a crowd, even a bitter crowd. You can watch two performers actually go out there and give the physicality,
right?
Less daylight, kids. give the the protagonist,
yes,
the antagonist,
right? Yes,
and you really go out there and you have it done properly. It'll buy anybody in, anybody.
Yeah, I mean it's a half and half game here.
People don't just happen into a wrestling arena.
No.
They don't just go down the road and go, boom, boom, boom. Well, it's not like going to see a movie, right?
Yeah, no, you're not like, I think I want to see some wrestling.
It's not even like going to see a band. Sometimes you're just out to club. You're out to get drunk and laid.
Yeah, right.
People don't go to wrestling to get laid.
No, you have to plan.
People that don't get laid go to wrestling.
Basically.
And sometimes you trip and fall on someone and have a child.
Yeah.
It's
wild.
just how it works. But when you've got the fan in the seat, they want to see, whether they know it or not, they want to see Stardom-esque wrestling. They want to see storytelling.
Yes.
They want to see struggle.
Emotion.
God, the emotion.
Passion.
Oh, you're doing it. You're doing it.
Sorry.
You see, now this is my life, right? I think she's bought in. I think she's really gone. This is your show. This is your show. I thought you're bought in, and instead,
I am bought in.
Instead, you're giving me the opening bumper for Stardom.
Glorious.
It's your show. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I agree completely. The 26-year-old retirement age really screwed Joshi wrestling hardcore back then. And it makes me especially mad when a couple weeks ago we watched 62-year-old Jaguar Yokota wrestle like nobody's business. Like that makes me so mad.
How did that even happen?
I don't know. She's amazing. I want to watch more of her stuff. All of it.
It just doesn't make sense still. I know we talked about it last time.
It doesn't.
But
she's so good.
It just doesn't make sense.
Oh, man. I hope some people learned from the error of their ways.
None of those legends were bad. I mean, even Dump, who could, God bless her.
She did her best.
Dump was having maybe the hardest time.
Right. She doesn't move around the best at this age.
From being a over 6 foot dude,
yeah,
I can tell you, the knees are like the first.
Right, but seeing some of her older work, she basically did.
Yeah, she did.
Same stuff.
Yeah, she did. She did the stuff. One of the things about Dump that's so cool is the fact that when she committed to that character and sent the letter to her mother.
It's so good.
Is it not? Why don't you recite that? Just it doesn't have to be exact.
She decided to change her character all on her own, and she cut her hair and she started wearing face paint. And she sent a letter to her mother, telling her that she might as well act as if her oldest daughter is dead because everyone's gonna hate her and it's not gonna be the same anymore. And she just dove straight into to the point where people were attacking her.
Yeah.
It was insanity.
Yeah, like men were scared of her.
Yes.
Men were scared of her in a very kind of misogynistic society.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is just amazing. And she seemed like such a genuinely sweet person.
She was.
And she grew up around all this hardship and bullying and
she
stuff.
was bullied and abused and messed with. And
then she became that.
Yeah.
She put all that pent up aggression
became her mask, her badge. I mean, anybody who's been through Shiznit
yes
can relate to that happening, that moment. And not to talk about dude stuff,
right,
but if anyone saw All Out,
yeah, hopefully you did.
there's one moment in AEW's All Out that will stand the test of time with me forever. Now, there was a few of those moments, right? But I'm talking the forever moments.
Right.
And that was in the Jon Moxley versus Orange Cassidy match. When Orange Cassidy had been beaten to a pulp. Sorry. But had been beaten down. And he's been beaten down in so many ways. Like in any kind of reviewer type stuff, ever since he started, it's, oh, he's a joke. He's a comedy act. He's this, he's that. And he's proven those doubters wrong. I would hope by now in all these matches, he's proven people wrong. This was more about just a culmination of everything and the culmination of the pain. They've done this story so beautifully week after week after week. His hand's broken, his hand's more messed up.
His back,
his
everything.
back, his neck, you know, everything, right? And in this match, Jon Moxley's him. He beats the piss out of him. And it gets down to this point, because he didn't do it till this point, in the last, you know, the last act of the match, so to say. Right? And Orange finally puts his hands in his pocket and starts doing the kicks.
Yes.
And then you see this change come over him, and they get a little bit harder and a little bit harder.
Yeah.
And then it gets to this emotional, like, oh my God, this emotional crescendo. Like it was like,
yeah, where he's just kicking the crap out of him.
He just kicks the crap out of him. And you could feel that crowd. You could feel that explosion.
It's like he was taking out his anger, like, am I a joke now?
Yeah.
Kind of deal.
Like everything.
Yeah.
Everything. And then he got killed for it. But, you know, so is life.
It was time.
It was that moment, though. Oh. And it was one of those kind of moments. And those are really...
It's the stuff you don't forget.
The stuff you don't forget. It really is the stuff you don't forget. Not, you know, there's way more of that in that, unfortunately, for me, into Joshi wrestling.
Yeah. They're not afraid to put their feelings out there, to cry, to like pull each other's hair and like, I don't know. It just feels more raw.
I truly believe that's why it connects with people.
I think so.
To this very day.
That's why it connects with me.
Yeah, there's no fear.
They always get me.
I mean, you're right. There's no fear behind doing it, whereas somebody might think it's silly.
Yeah, but they're also not afraid to be goofy and to sing and dance and do what they love, you know?
Right.
It's so fun.
Yeah, it's amazing.
They'll entertain you and then they'll kill each other in the ring for 15 minutes. And then they'll just cry. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Good point. They're more violent than probably anything, but you see less injuries too.
You do, yes.
Okay.
Sorry about that tangent.
Pray continue.
Before we start talking about AEW, we want to say a few words about WWE Payback, which was this weekend, of course.
Yes.
And I want to work a little backwards here because I just want to mention that Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez is a match that happened.
Yes, it did.
It was fine. It was a fine match.
You watch it.
We have to watch it. It's women's wrestling.
I know.
It was fine. They did the whole, like, these two women are both big and strong story, basically.
Yeah, several times.
But there wasn't anything that really stood out about it to me.
No.
They didn't do anything crazy.
The blood booger stood out to me.
Oh, well, yeah, that Rhea Ripley's bloody nose was kind of gross.
I mean, it gave new meaning to snot rocket.
And of course, Dom got in there and helped Rhea win.
That didn't even bother me. It wasn't that.
No, it wasn't that. It was fine.
It just never connected.
No, it did not. It didn't have that connection.
No, that wire was just kind of zzz. But
what did connect, and what probably should have been the main event, in my opinion,
of the entire card,
was Trish Stratus versus Becky Lynch in the cage.
Now, we gave
my goodness.
We talked some crap on them.
We did talk some crap on Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch. And speaking of legends that, you know, still have it and able to tell a story and stuff, this match was so good.
My God.
They did it so well, like from Trish immediately trying to escape the cage to them brutalizing each other on the cage walls. And there were no other weapons used or anything. They just started slamming each other into these chain link fence walls.
Yeah, Trish had a goiter on her head.
Yeah, it was disgusting. And of course, there was that spot where Trish got hung upside down.
Oh my God.
From the top of the cage, and we were freaking out.
Dude, because anything can happen.
Yeah, I was worried about her legs mostly.
Yeah, anything can happen. You can slip out. And you're dead.
Yeah, absolutely.
At that point, you're
you
dead.
fall upside down off a cage.
You're dead, bro.
But it all came to a head when Zoe Stark finally was like, okay, I'm going to get involved and try to drag Trish out of here. And they ended up pulling them back in. And they shut the door so that Zoe was trapped in there as well. And they did the whole hitting her with the cage door spot.
Which makes you think Michael Hayes had something to do with this.
But in the end, Becky Lynch was able to overcome the odds.
Yes.
And pin Trish Stratus.
Yeah, it was a beautiful culmination of a lot of work they've put in.
Yes.
And, it's hats off to the ladies.
They kept me gripped the whole time.
It was incredibly violent. You have to work around the dumbest rules for a cage match,
yes.
Because it's WWE and it's the whole escape the cage,
That does give reason to get on top of the cage, I guess, but
it does. And when it's done correctly, it puts a little fun element to it.
Yeah.
It does.
They did it right here.
Yeah, there's a fun element to escaping the cage. Mm-hmm. I have always wished that it was a pinfall and then you have to try to escape the cage.
Yeah, it would be cool.
and once they pull you back down or make contact with you and start pulling you down,
right,
it has to reset.
Yeah. That would be really cool. And it would add another layer to it of like urgency.
Yeah. It might make it too long or something. I don't know.
Right.
Too many pinfalls.
I thought it was really interesting how they had this whole storyline about Trish talking about not wanting to be anyone's sidekick and how she's like the main event. And then at the end of the match, Zoe Stark was in there, who's kind of been her sidekick.
Yes.
And she decided, you're not going to tell me what to do anymore.
Yeah.
And she took the Trish shirt off and laid her out and left her in the cage all by herself.
She's no Trish Stratus.
No, she's no Trish Stratus.
Trish has had a lot of those girls over the years. Like, famously, the first Trish fan that showed up was Mickie James. And
that makes sense.
That was the big, introduction for the world to Mickie James. And she did fantastic at that, obviously. I mean, it's Mickie freaking James. Yeah, she's amazing. She's amazing, but she's up there with that, in that Trish sphere of, Trish is just, honestly, a whole new generation that don't even know her work. They know clips.
Yeah.
They've seen this stuff. They've been told she's a legend. Right. But they don't realize that she literally debuted with TNA. I mean, not the company TNA. She was all part of some T&A. Right. And, she was different time, different world, and that's what it was all about. Right. But she honestly worked harder than everyone else and wanted to be respected and went out there and made her name as a wrestler and had some great matches in a time period when they didn't have great matches. Yeah. The men were having arguably the best matches in the whole history of the E. Right. But because that was the work rate era. At the end of the Attitude Era going into the ruthless aggression, they had, the angles and this name is redacted, had all these guys out there really showing their stuff, but the girls were just an afterthought. Of course, in that time period. They were there for something else. But, it's a different world, and Trish is getting her due, and it's amazing. She showed it here. Dude, she deserves it. This was maybe the best cage match that I've ever seen in WWE, and I will say that, and that's fine. If you don't agree, I don't care. Yeah. It's my personal opinion. I mean, it's one of the best, if not the best. Maybe Hogan and Orndorff, okay? That's the other one I have in that argument. Right. From 86. That's sad, but true. So, but everything from the storytelling to the work to just the way they went about it, I don't know, it just worked. The pace worked, everything worked, and I was very pleased with it. But that brings us to what was an impressive week for AEW. So to say. An impressive 2 weeks. Yes. A lot of buzz, a lot of things happening. A lot of things we're not talking about. Yes, of course. That doesn't matter. None of that matters right now. We're talking about the positivity. We're going to start with AEW All In, yes, which was
last Sunday in Wembley Stadium in London.
Yeah, a couple Sundays now. Yes.
And of course, they had been building this story with Toni Storm losing her belt. She's the diva now.
Greatest character in the world.
And there's 2 outcasts that are going to be in this 4-way match.
Yes.
So what's that going to be like?
Right.
And let me tell you, it paid off.
Yeah, and not enough love has been given in this match.
No, I haven't seen much talk about it, so we're going to talk about it.
Yes, we are.
I do want to first mention, because it's in the realm of women's wrestling, Mercedes Moné was there.
Yes, she was.
In the crowd.
Exciting us.
They showed her a couple of times, and we were like, oh, we need that, please.
Please, lots of it.
But at the start of this match, it was really cool because Saraya came out first to We Will Rock You, along with her entire family.
Amazing people we want to see there.
Yes, a couple of people we'd like to bring in alongside Saraya. And then Toni Storm came out to God Save the Queen.
Yes,
because she's dramatic and she had new gear that looked like, pinup lingerie. It was so good.
Yeah, she's a starlet from that pinup girl era now.
Yes, which is perfect.
Makes total sense.
So this match started. This was very much a story about Toni and Saraya.
Yes.
Like, Britt and Sheeta were there.
Yeah.
But they were kind of just supporting players in this match. So it started off, as you'd imagine, with the Outcasts working together. But very early on, they both tried to score a pinfall over Britt. And they couldn't agree on who. They both kept trying to cover her and then getting off. Like, what are you doing? What do you mean what I'm doing? What are you doing?
Right.
Which was hilarious. And then, not long after that, on the outside, Toni Storm set up Britt Baker by having Saraya's mom hold on to her arms. And when she went to hit her, she moved. So she ended up knocking the crap out of Saraya's mom.
The other Saraya. Yeah.
Which, of course, infuriated Saraya.
Right.
Because that's her mom.
Right.
Even if it was an accident.
Right.
You don't hit someone's mom.
Exactly.
So they started getting into it. And Toni got so mad that she exposed the bottom turnbuckle, set Saraya up against it, and was going to hit the Sweet Cheek Music, which is dangerous already.
Right.
When there's not metal behind your head. So Ruby Soho decided that's not going to fly, and she ran out there. And she was like, you can't do that. You're going to break her neck. Because obviously Saraya has issues with that already. And she got in the way so much that Saraya was ready to get back at it. By the time Toni took Ruby out, she actually struck Ruby and Ruby stormed off. It was a whole scene. But they ended up with Britt thrust kicking Toni and she fell backwards onto Saraya in a pinfall cover, and that just made Saraya even madder. So she locked the Scorpion Cross lock onto Britt, which was so cool.
Like, so big. Like, we both popped, but it was so funny because I had just went into this deep dive with Raja. Was it the night before or a couple of nights?
It was within a few days.
And what a random thing to bring up. But I was like, when Medusa came, to the States, or back to the States, and she had been having this, with Bull Nakano, and, they did this move.
Right.
And on Monday Night Raw and on a pay-per-view. So when I saw it, I stole it a few years ago. I mean, a few years later, not a few years ago.
It's a cool looking move.
It was. So like they did it then and I did it like 5 years later.
Right.
So I didn't think anybody would notice. And obviously when it did, like every one of the boys that wrestled with me were like, oh, hey, that's that Medusa move. It's like, yeah, I hate you all.
Like, shh.
But obviously that meant a lot to everybody because you didn't see those different moves very much.
Right.
But it was cool seeing it here. It was such a callback.
Yeah, it was. And I apologize. She actually locked that on Toni, not Britt. But Britt used it to her advantage and hit Toni with the curb stomp while she was in the Scorpion Crosslock, which was amazing. And then Britt put the lockjaw on Sheeta. So Saraya sprayed Toni in the face with the spray paint and got the pin before Sheeta could tap to Britt. So Saraya became the new AEW World
Such a wonderful
champion.
moment.
Oh, man.
It was the moment. Anybody who didn't like this, you just don't like, sugary cereal. You're just one of those people that don't understand.
You probably kick puppies.
Sometimes it's okay if it doesn't make the most sense. Well, that's not the right decision.
Yeah.
Listen, sometimes Lucky Charms is the right decision. It just is.
Sometimes the rabbit can have tricks.
And this is one of those damn decisions that makes all the sense in the world.
Oh my gosh.
This is letting Drew McIntyre win.
Oh yeah.
You know what I
Clash
mean?
in the castle.
Everybody bitched about that.
Oh, man.
Everybody wanted to complain about that. To me, it didn't make sense for him to win, honestly.
No, but it would have been cool.
In that environment, it would have been. But the same people that want to throw shade have to toss shade here because they just have to have shade in their life.
Maybe Britt should have won, and then somebody famous from England could have gotten the ring and sang a song with Saraya, and everything would have been fine. Just like Drew McIntyre.
My God, what a terrible, terrible memory that is. But this was beautiful. It was beautiful having the whole family come in there, knowing that you can have a follow-up to her movie.
Yeah.
With a whole new chapter, right? A whole new thing. And her new book can end with that. With
an actual happy ending?
Which she said in an interview.
Oh, man. It was so nice to see her in front of all those people.
I mean, she wasn't supposed to be able to walk again.
Yeah, no.
And, naturally, much less wrestle and all this. I mean, look, man, this is a big story. This is huge. And it's awesome with all the crap she had to put up with in her life and all the leaked photos and all the people always up in her business. And, having Stardom at such a young age, I think she went to the main roster at 21 years old.
Yeah.
And won the Divas belt.
Yep.
And I remember us watching that and we were instantly in love.
Yeah. She was amazing.
I mean, it was one of those things of, all right, this is cool, So this is a culmination, and she's still a very young woman.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy.
This is what we're talking about with the 26-year-old retirement age.
It's and the AEW, not always the most sports entertaining place.
Right.
Have had some incredible sports entertainment type deals, and I've been here for it. It's been really cool because it's mixed in.
They've been weaving them in flawlessly.
Yeah, it's been mixed in. This was one of those. This was a sports entertainment match.
It was.
You could hear the girls, which I enjoyed.
Yes, it was all about the story between the outcasts and what's going on with Tony.
The Tony thing is amazing right now.
And I know Saraya hasn't wrestled much since her return, but this is the best that I've seen her look since she came back. And she looked fresh. And I'm excited for her title run.
You got to understand how hard it is for her because you can't just have a random Saraya match on Dark.
No, she's a special attraction.
Right. I know Dark's not here. I'm just making a point. But if you have the Dark match with Saraya, everybody's going to talk about it. So anything she does has to be in front of nobody in a training gym. That's just different.
Yeah.
It's not real-time speed. It's just not.
Yeah.
It's not emotional. It's not 100,000 people.
Right. No,
I'm going with WWE numbers.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, I mean.
But, putting the belt on her is probably one of the best things you could do because, when you've got that big belt, you're not defending it every single week.
Right.
You're just reserved for those special pay-per-view matches.
You should be defending it once every 30 days, as the sign said at Payback.
I wouldn't mind that. But that match was so good, and it set up so much story because they've got this thing brewing between Britt and Cheetah that I don't know where that's going to go yet, but they obviously they're on thin ice, even though they're on the same side right now.
Yeah, they've got Britt and Cheetah. They've got Cheetah and Athena.
Yeah, that was
for the ROH title.
A new wrinkle added.
Which is awesome because that also has Billy Starks in it, which is Athena's, new person.
Yes.
That is with
it's her minion.
So that would give you, Billy Starks maybe versus Sky.
That would be good.
Even though she kind of doesn't want to go against her friends, that's what she's putting on social media.
Well, yeah, she was kind of on the opposite side of the people she normally teams with.
We've got Tony versus Saraya. We got Tony versus, both the remaining outcast.
Are the outcasts even gonna be a thing for long?
I'd say they'll stick together, just to give Saraya that heater.
Maybe. I'd say Ruby will at least stick by her.
Yeah.
If Tony goes off and does
that
her
can
own
make
thing.
those matches, if she does have an issue, you have somebody to take the attention away.
Right. Yeah. Ruby's good at that.
But what about Statlander? Like who's next to challenge for? I know we haven't talked about this yet.
Right.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. We were going to talk about it next. So
because I'd like to see Britt and Statlander.
I think Britt going for the TBS title would be interesting. She's never been in that.
I don't want her to win it.
Right.
I want her to go for it.
Yeah. It would be a unique struggle for her, I think, going up against someone the size and power of Chris Statlander.
Yeah, we need more Statlander actual matches that sometimes it takes a while to get there.
She needs a feud.
Yeah.
She hasn't had like a steady feud yet.
Right.
Since gaining this belt. And I mean, Jade didn't really have that either because she had the benefit of her undefeated streak as her story.
If anybody's close to Tony Khan, let me just say, be awful nice to have a women's wrestling show on Friday nights.
Just 1 hour.
You could bring Medusa in as a color commentator to really help the story along. There's a wonderful, wonderful lady out there on the indies that does some commentating that has a relationship that I would like to see her dude wrestle in AEW.
Please.
Just saying. Levada Scott action would be awesome on commentary.
She's so good.
She is amazing.
She's the best in the business.
Play-by-play with Veda Scott, color commentary by Medusa.
Just an hour of like 3 women's matches.
Right.
Every Friday night.
You've already got the perfect name.
Yeah.
Rampage is...
It's very much feminine.
Yeah, it's a very feminine word.
It's a concept, you know?
But I think that would be great because then you could truly have, and you would start attracting that indie talent again and like, you know, have a place for job matches and
have a chance to build proper stories.
Yeah, because you need the job matches with the ladies to show their finisher, to show their character.
Right.
And then have like the one feature match.
Right, yeah, like
you
the
know,
big match.
the main event. So the last 20 minutes is always the main event. Give them time to go. And the rest of it is storytelling.
Yeah.
And job matches.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
I would be all for it because
it would be must-see TV. It would turn Rampage. I guarantee you, if you did that, it would turn Rampage into a 700,000.
It'd be must-see.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think.
I do too.
So, of course, that brings us to AEW All Out from just yesterday. And this show, just overall, was incredible. There was not a slow moment. Nothing went awry. There were surprises. I was excited from start to finish, honestly.
Absolutely. And all the reports so far, all of them have called it maybe show of the year. One of the shows of the year, you know, if not the show of the year.
Right.
All In is so exciting because you've got 100,000 people.
Yes.
But All Out had the world stacked against it.
Yes, it did. All Out is an example of pure AEW, like at its best.
Yeah.
And All In was more like showy. It was more of like, let's see what spectacular things we could do.
All In was AEW doing WWE.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, right?
But All Out was just that.
It showed that we could.
It showed what we love so much about AEW since the beginning.
Yeah, it was very much. It was like if AEW had existed without a chick magnet for this whole time.
Right. What it could be.
What it could be. And it's like, oh, yeah, that's what it was like.
A family.
And that's what I think people are not realizing yet is you had all this fun.
Right.
It's almost like your mom started dating some dude and you guys used to have fun and listen to music and dance on Friday nights.
Right.
And she'd let you drink wine every now and then and you guys would watch your favorite show together. This dude came along and it was supposed to be better.
Right.
You even had more money, you know, there was more money. You were supposed to be structure and he brought structure and he brought rules that you never had before. It's supposed to be better from the outside looking in.
Right.
And people that, you know, went to church next door, they looked at you and nodded now because you were doing the right thing.
Right.
But there was some things maybe happened behind closed doors that people kind of thought they knew, but still, yeah, you were doing the right thing.
Right.
You had the right thing going. You had the right person, the right nuclearism of it all.
Right, of course.
But then all of a sudden, it just went too far. It went too far. And Mama had to make a tough decision. Now, Mama loved the idea of having this relationship.
Yes.
But Mama just wasn't happy.
In practice.
And sure as hell no, the kids weren't happy.
No.
At all.
No. And when the kids aren't happy, Mama's not happy.
Right. So then what happens the first week that it's back to the way it was? We drank a little wine.
We went dancing.
We watched some Grey's Anatomy. We went out and seen 5 Seconds of Summer.
It was great.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It's like old times.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful.
There's your freaking... I didn't mention anything.
So we had, on the 0 hour, we had a fun little 6-man match between Athena, Diamante, Mercedes Monet. Not Mercedes Monet.
No.
Mercedes
God,
Martinez.
You're just in love, aren't you?
Yes.
You just want her there.
Against Willow.
What are they going to do with the other Mercedes?
I have no idea.
If they bring Mercedes Monet in.
Leave her in Ring of Honor.
That would drive Vince McMahon to jump out a window.
Oh, it would be so bad.
We can't have 2 Mercedes. Look in my garage. I only got 1 goddamn Mercedes.
Oh, he would have died at the Ricky Steamboat, Dragon.
Yeah. Or some of that Paige Cage stuff we've had in the past. It's just like...
What about Brian Cage and Christian Cage?
Yeah. It's okay, folks. You know what? People are smart enough to figure shit out sometimes.
Yes.
But
you remember the Adam versus Adam match?
I do.
It was so much fun.
Where we all chanted for Adam?
Yes.
But Mercedes and, God, I forgot her name now too. Martinez. Oh my God. Mercedes Martinez and Diamante is one of the best pairings they've put together.
Yes.
I love the cell block queen. Like now, and I will always just see her like getting cigarettes to people for information.
Yes.
But she's had a resurgence. And you talk about people having great matches when you hadn't seen them have any good ones in a while. Mm-hmm. Mercedes Martinez checks that box.
She does.
Because her last match was freaking awesome.
Yeah. Her match against Chris was crazy.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. It was really good. And
yes. And then you had the normal pairing of Willow and Sky Blue when they were teaming with Hikaru Shida, which is where the whole Shida-Athena thing kind of took root.
Shathina. Yes.
Shathina, yes. And Billy Stark's on the outside. And this was a fun little match, it was 0 hours, so they just played around, basically.
They did, yeah.
They had fun.
Fair.
Everyone loved seeing Sky Blue in Chicago. It's like the big draw.
They did enjoy the...
They're a hometown girl.
They did, yes.
But on the main card, we had the TBS title match between Chris Statlander and Ruby Soho. And this was almost just more fodder for the Outcast storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, Chris and Ruby work really well together. They know each other very well. So this was a struggle for Chris from the beginning, and she had to kind of fight her way back. But, once Mama gets going, there's no stopping her.
Absolutely. Mama has it down pat.
But near the end of this match, Toni Storm snuck out from under the ring, where she'd presumably been for the entire night so far, and took the spray paint from Ruby Soho before she could use it on Chris. And she didn't spray her with it or anything. She just kind of sprayed it in the air like a lunatic. She looked like she was watching birds fly by. I don't know. But she didn't let her cheat, and that led to Chris getting...
Well, they said she was in the parking lot throwing shoes at birds earlier.
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said that. And so Ruby ended up losing on account of Toni Storm, I guess you could say. She didn't let her cheat.
It was totally her fault.
And she distracted her, and so that just lends more to the implosion of the Outcasts at this point.
One would think that would make Toni the heel.
Yeah.
But not when it's dirty, dirty, dirty heels.
No, you're stopping the heels.
You're stopping the heels.
Being dirty heels. I don't think Toni Storm is a babyface by any stretch of the imagination.
I think she's in cuckoo land.
She's just in her own little world.
Yeah. I love it.
Maybe she'll go after Chris because she wants a belt so bad.
Well, she has a real life relationship with Juice.
Yes.
So I think someone needs to check the carbon monoxide levels in the house.
They're both a little off their rockers.
You talk about a cool storyline.
Has anyone checked on Juice and Toni lately?
Go over there, it shows them show up, and like Jay White be like, what the hell's that smell?
Juice is actually talking to the cardboard cutout like it's really Jay.
It's like, what? Oh my God. We weren't expecting you. It's fantastic.
Oh, jeez. I love them both so much.
I do too.
We love Bullet Club Gold in this house.
Yes, we are Bullet Club Gold people.
Firm believers.
Yes.
So that brings us to Stardom. And Stardom, of course, has been a big feature because of their current 5-star Grand Prix tournament that we've been talking about.
Yeah, but it's always going to be a feature. Don't let us pretend.
Well, it's easy to make it the feature when every match on the card is a women's match.
Yeah, and it's so good.
And it's amazing.
It's the best wrestling in the world.
There's so much to talk about.
We love it.
So we're going to go through the last couple of 5-star nights of action, including a 5-star special.
Yes, the 5-star special is the best pay-per-view in a long time.
It was so good. But we're going to start on August 20th in Numazu and just run through these real quick.
Let's do it.
So we started off with Miyu Amasaki and Utami Hayashishita. Dang it!
Oh my God.
Take a shot. Everybody take a shot. They beat Hanako and Saki Kashima in about a 6-minute match.
Yes.
You know, it was quick. It was fun. I love seeing Utami team up with Miyu as one of the younger members of Queen's Quest. It's sort of like that mentorship thing.
It is.
So this was fun. It didn't really get off the ground that much. I mean, Saki and Utami seemed to be taking a few nights off, you know. She
really did.
But they
she was
had
starting
fun.
to get us worried.
And of course, Miyu and Hanako kind of have a storyline where they're both from Kyoto, and they were like, we should face next time we're in Kyoto.
It's one of those famous side stories.
Yes. And then we had Hanan, Sayaida, and Koguma defeating Rina, Ruaka, and Starlight Kid. Hanako actually got the pin on this one with the 17 in about 10 minutes. It was a nice little match. We saw Waka Tsukiyama and Mariah May defeat Yuna Mizumori and Natsupoi with the Happily Ever After Tombstone.
Yes.
Which is one of Mariah's best moves. Though that Once Upon a Time roll-up is immaculate. I love it when she uses that.
I love it too. It's awesome. It's sudden.
And then we saw Mei Sarah, Megan Bain, and Tekla defeat Lady C, Hina, and Azumi with the F5. Big surprise there.
I know, right?
And of course, May and Megan are just a joy to see together.
May is always a joy to see.
She is. We only had 2 tournament matches on this card, starting with Hazuki defeating Amisori with a brainbuster in 14 minutes, almost the time limit, but she got it done there at the end.
And it felt like 30.
It did. These two are two that haven't hit that stride yet.
I mean,
when you put them together.
I mean, they should have.
They should have.
And they have it at other times.
Yes.
It's
Hazuki especially.
So it's that chemistry deal.
Yeah.
You just can't, even Patrick Swayze, I mean, he might have magic with Baby.
Yeah, you gotta have the right dance partner.
That doesn't mean that, Baby's cousin was going to have that same magic. She might have slipped off head first.
Absolutely.
So this is one of those things where Baby's cousin was not Baby.
It was something. And then in the main event,
looked more like Roadhouse, less like Dirty Dancing.
Unfortunately, in the main event, we saw Natsuko Tora defeat Mayu Iwatani with the Swanton Bomb in 13 minutes.
I was all about Tora. I was all about her. I was just like,
she's cool.
I was like, she's cool. You see her do sweet things when people are wearing away to tie stuff out in the crowd.
Yes.
And come over and like give them some love. And, you can kind of tell people are nice people sometimes.
Yeah, we saw
even
little
Hills,
Tora.
Even Hills. But I'm so mad at her right now.
She's killing us right now.
If she don't stop beating my favorites, I'm wearing my Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch shirt right now.
Yeah.
And I've got my marked out eyeglasses on. I mean, it's Mark.
Right.
It's fine. But by God, this pisses me off. Tora needs to be stopped.
Every time Mayu's in the ring, we have our baseball gloves ready and we're like got the foxtails on.
Absolutely.
And then we see her lose and we're like deflated.
Yeah, our little tails fall off.
It wasn't so bad against Natsupoi.
No.
But then Natsuko Tora comes in here thinking she could just bully everyone.
No, I was happy about Natsupoi because it's
goodness.
Right.
It was a good match though because it's Mayu.
Yeah, it's great.
So on August 26th in Nagoya, we started with Momo Watanabe and Starlight Kid defeating Hanako and Saya Ida. Not a big surprise there.
No.
They just kind of beat on them, you know. Waka Tsukiyama and Mariah May defeated Miyu Amasaki and Lady C, again with that devastating tombstone.
Again, no surprise.
And then Amisori and Shuri defeated Yuna Mizumori and Natsupoi with a Blue Thunder Bomb, which we love to see as a finisher.
Take that, Simon.
That's one thing we love from Amisori is that Blue Thunder Bomb. She does it so well.
Yes.
And then Mei Sarah, Megan Bain, and Tekla again. They defeated Momo Kogo, Hanan, and Mayu Iwatani with the F5.
Yes.
If Megan Bain's in the ring, you can pretty much guarantee.
It's okay. I get to see May.
Yes. We're always excited to see May. And she was actually kind of excited to get thrown recently. Like she was like, yes, me, choose me.
Yeah,
it's like the boys in Dalton Castle.
Changing a little bit.
Oh, they're funny. So our tournament matches for this night included Natsuko Tora defeating Tam Nakano. And after this one, she actually made it a point to be like, I've beat all the other faction leaders. I beat Shuri, I beat Mayu, and now I've beat Tam. So who's going to stop me?
And she also said Poi's on a run. And she's like, Poi's undefeated except for the one draw.
Yes.
But I'm going to beat your girl tomorrow night.
Yes. Natsukatora had a little run of matches these last few days. After that, we saw Mirai defeat Julia with that lariat of hers.
My God.
Oh, these two just beat on each other the whole time.
Yeah, man. Mirai, with the exception of, I don't know, she's been really...
She's turned it on.
Really been winning me over.
Yeah, me too. It's so much fun to see her because she's got such passion in there and her moves are so good. She's so fluid.
Very crisp.
She knows what she's doing.
Very little daylight.
And then in the main event, we saw Maika defeat Utami Hayashishita with her Michinoku Driver 2 in almost 14 minutes. It was very close to the time limit.
And this was another one that didn't deliver for me.
Yeah.
With two people that I love so much, it just didn't do it for me.
It's like they didn't gel very well.
Like they should have beat the hot snot out of each other.
They should have, indeed.
And it should have been that way off the first. Some of these matches, like sometimes you can have a Mayo match and right off the bat, you feel like you've done 10 minutes, not in a bad way, but in a violence way.
Yeah, like, oh my God. They're just going for it.
This one just didn't ever get there.
No, and weirdly enough, we just went back and watched some of historic crossover from last year.
Yeah.
Where Utami and Tana took on Maika and Goto, which was a fun match because those are like matches made in heaven.
Right, absolutely.
But this match just didn't get there. And watching Utami take a loss when she was already like falling behind in the tournament did not make me happy.
Yeah, they were more interested in pushing the liquor.
Yes, they were all about their tequila and whatever they had.
I think it was vodka.
So on August 27th, the next night in Fukui, we had Waka Tsukiyama winning a triple threat over Hanako and Miyu Amasaki.
Which I didn't expect.
No, but she had a pretty nice suplex hold to get it done. May Sarah and Megan Bain, for once not in the undercard main event, defeated Lady C and Utami Hayashishita with the F5.
Yeah.
This one only went 7 minutes, so they just went out there and did their thing.
One thing, I want to see more Lady C.
She's been so good lately.
Yeah. I'm digging Lady C. I think she's starting to hit that stride a little bit.
She is.
And I like her. I just do. Like, look out for Lady C.
Yeah, I like her paired up with the younger girls like Hanako.
Yeah.
Like, it always seems like she's good at helping them out.
I like Hanako, too.
Yes, Hanako's doing great lately.
Yeah, I think she's starting to really gel.
Yes. After that, we saw Shuri and Mirai defeat Yuna Mizumori and Tam Nakano with the Suzaku.
Yes.
Shuri just stretching whoever she likes.
Yeah, whenever she likes.
Whenever she likes. And then we saw Maika, Tekla, and Julia, dream team of Donna Del Mondo, defeat Momo Kogo, Sayaida, and Mayu Iwatani with the Inbu Goho in, about 10 minutes.
Again, this one, not much to it, honestly.
No, there's like a matchup in here that you want to see.
Yeah.
Julia and Mayu.
Right.
And then you don't really get it all that much.
No.
But it was fine for what it was. Then we got into our tournament matches, starting with Saori Anu defeating Hanan in about 12 minutes. So a bit of a hard out for Saori to get Hanan to finally take the pin.
Yeah, that was, it was a pretty good match.
It was okay, yeah. Hanan takes a minute to get going.
Yeah.
She's a slow starter. Then we saw Mariah May win her match over Momo Watanabe, breaking Momo's undefeated streak with the Once Upon a Time pin.
It was a great match, and honestly, we were holding each other. By the end of this one, that's when we know it's great.
Yeah.
When we have put each other in like a pretzel hold because we're so into the match.
We're just freaking out.
But honestly, didn't expect that. I really didn't expect it. I thought Watanabe was going to win.
Yeah, and Mariah even got that crazy the slam on the outside that she's been doing on Momo, which I wasn't expecting, but I'm so glad she won this.
Yeah, it was a really good match though.
It was so good. After that, we saw Ami Sori defeat Starlight Kid, which speaks for itself. I was so upset at the end of this match. I didn't even write down the finish. I completely missed it.
Yeah, I wasn't very happy about this.
Oh, goodness. And in the main event, we were having We're having a great time. We get to this main event and Natsukatora defeats Natsupoi. I think we just turned it off.
Yeah, we were really pissed off.
We get so into it, and then when things happen that we don't really want to happen, we're like, God, it just brings down the whole mood.
Yeah.
It's so funny now, looking back at it now.
It is. We were just completely, it was an off night.
As soon as she hit that Swanton bomb, we were like, crap.
Yeah.
Not Natsupoi, too. And of course, she was like, what Natsupoi revolution?
Yeah.
Shut up.
She gave the bye poi.
She did. She did give a bye poi.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
We were so pissed off.
This last week was not great for tournament matches for us personally.
Right.
Who we want to win the matches.
Yeah, we have to have a better week.
Yes, but it picked up because we had the Stardom 5-star special in Hiroshima on the 3rd.
It was amazing, and I wasn't looking, this is crazy, but I wasn't really looking forward to it as much as normal. And
we were still a little put off.
Yeah, still a little bit like, okay.
But there was actually a show that happened on the 2nd, just a regular 5-star show that they haven't uploaded yet, so we haven't seen it.
So we live in that world. We don't look them up.
Yeah, we don't know what happened on that one.
When they upload it, then that's when it happens for us.
Yes.
Because we want to see it and be able to bring it to you, so we're going with these results.
Yes, so the show on the 3rd was live. That's the only reason we've seen it already, because it was a special in Hiroshima and it had some really big matches on it. 4 title matches, 3 tournament matches. It started with a 6-man match where Amisori, Tekla, and Yuna Mizumori defeated Azumi, Miyu Amasaki, and Lady C. Mm-hmm. It was just a quick 6-man, pre-show match.
Pretty decent, though.
Pretty decent. The main card started off with Micah teaming with Megan Bayne, which I feel like she's really enjoying.
Yes.
And they defeated Rose Gold, Mariah May, and Mina Shirakawa with the F5.
Yes.
Which, is Megan Bayne in a nutshell. So you kind of see it coming at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't necessarily see this win, though, because I thought they were going to pull it out a few times. Because they were getting more on Megan than most people have.
Yeah, well, last time they faced a team with Megan in it, Mariah and Mina did win because I think they took down Tekla or something. So they have a win over Megan Bayne, but they didn't get it done at this point. Micah and Megan Bayne came out on top.
Right.
So then we went into our tournament matches, all of which were amazing.
They were. Starting
with Utami Hayashishita defeating Momo Watanabe. And let me tell you, Utami showed up for this match.
She did.
I was so proud.
This one had some cool stuff to it. I mean, it was Utami violence.
It was.
The way you want to see it.
Yeah. And of course, there were all those kicks and stuff, and the extra layer of, as Utami put it, old Queen's Quest versus new Queen's Quest, because Momo used to be the leader. And so they kind of know each other really well.
Right.
And they showed that in countering a few of each other's moves, but for the most part, this match was just brutality.
It was.
They were just beating each other the whole time.
It was. I loved it. It was a really good match.
Yes, and Utami did not finish with the shocking Baszler. She seems to be having trouble getting that move put on people lately.
Because it's a rib.
Maybe she finally realized.
Yeah.
The next match was Tam Nakano versus Starlight Kid, and Tam Nakano won this match, which isn't a huge surprise.
No.
But we want SLK to have some stuff, I mean, she beat Natsuka Tora at least, which other people can't claim.
Listen, man, SLK is one of the pillars right now, and I want her to, turn it around in the tournament.
Yes, I do too. And this was a really emotional match. Like, I don't know why, but I just felt like these two were trying to prove something to each other, and at the end they even held hands while they were laying there, and Tam gave her Tam smile that she gives when she approves of somebody after the match.
Yeah, no, it was really freaking good.
It was so good
and violent, and you never knew what was going to happen. It felt like anybody could have it at any time.
Yeah, it did.
And it was awesome match.
Our last tournament match, with a note that I don't know if I can read because it has a curse word in it. F me running. That was our note for this match. Shuri defeating Mayu Iwatani.
Yes.
The current IWGP Women's Heavyweight Champion.
Yes.
Which is interesting for the future.
It is. This match.
Oh, man, this match.
Go ahead. It's your show.
These two obviously they're two of the top stars in Stardom, because you got the Stardom icon, and then you have Sherry, who's mom to us. And she was also sporting some of the best gear that I've seen her in.
She looked amazing.
It looked so good. But there were just points in this match where you thought that one of them had the upper hand, and then the other one would just pull something out of nowhere and come back. And there was so much passion, and you could see even Mayu got to this point that we don't see her at often, where I think she knew she was on her last legs. But Sherry just has that extra step, I guess. She had something over top of Mayu and ended up with the win, very, very close to the time limit. I thought it was going to end up in a draw, but...
Not been a lot of draws. I mean...
No, there haven't been, which I'm happy about.
I think there's been 2.
There were a couple in the early going.
Yeah.
But they've sort of evened that out and had very clean winners. And, of course, these two, I think, very much respect each other because of their position in the company. And that didn't stop them from kicking the shit out of each other, drop kicking the shit out of each other.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. It was, fuck me running.
Mayu tried to get that move that she got on Utami, where she does the poison rana and then rolls you over into a pin, but Sherry got out of it. It was just so good. It's like they had each other completely scouted.
There's no way to give it its just due.
No.
This match has to be seen. It's one of those that is so good.
Yes.
That you should go out of your way to see it.
You should. And it should be on Stardom World in the next couple days for you to watch.
It'd be the perfect time, because we have to rewatch it, because we like to go back and see it with the subtitles.
Yeah, we got to know everything that was said.
That's our excuse to watch the match again.
This is worth it, though.
Yeah, this one's going to be watched again.
After that, we got into our championship matches.
Yes.
Starting with the high-speed championship, where Saki Kashima kept her belt over Momo Kogo. Momo was super mad going into this match. Yeah, Momo, so mad.
She looks like she's, I don't know, man, like Momo evil face.
Yeah. And of course there's a history with Saki and Stars, which, she betrayed them. Yeah. So she's just
freaking weird, man.
Yeah, she is. She's weird, but when she gets going, she knows how to beat you. And this high speed match was not terribly high speed, but
no, it feels like the wrong people are fighting for the high speed title.
It does feel that way a little bit.
Yeah.
But thankfully, we're going to get the correct match soon.
We are.
After that, we had the Goddess of Stardom Championship, a match between Sarianu and Natsupoi, the champions, and Mei Seira and Suzu Suzuki.
Amazing.
The dream team.
Yes.
And like you said while we were watching it, these two teams are just mirror images of each other. Because you've got that super hard-hitting, strong style, give no Fs person in Suzu and Saori. And then you have the super quick, crazy moves, never know where you're going to come from in Natsupoi and Mei. And when they get in the ring together, it just makes magic.
It made me want to see Natsupoi versus Mei in a high profile match. That was so bad because they are so fast that their shadows don't even it's like Jesus Christ.
When they crisscross on the ropes, you're like...
And it's not like they're just going that fast. They're at a different speed than we are. It's like watching The Flash.
It is. It's insane.
For The Flash, it's normal time. And to us, it's just a blur.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like with them, because they're doing technical shit.
Yeah, at the same time as they're going a million miles a minute.
It's amazing.
Imagine Takeshita when he gets going on those ropes a few times, faster than that.
Right.
It's insane.
It's insane.
And I don't know how they do it, but it was kind of clear going through this match that Saori and Natsupoi always had the upper hand, because they're obviously the veterans of this match. And Mei and Suzu haven't been teaming together that long.
No.
But they still gelled together really well. They had some tag team moves and everything.
Still, the future is bright.
It is. And Natsupoi and Sarianu did pull out the win in this match to retain their titles. And after the fact, a couple of things happened. Saki Kashima came out. And from what I can understand from translations on Twitter, she basically called Mei weak and was like, now I'm willing to fight you because I see how weak you are.
Yeah.
And it's like, go away, Saki, not the time. And then Utami and Azumi came out to challenge for the Goddess titles.
Right.
Which is an amazing team.
Yeah.
Because some Queen's Quest in there.
I like it.
Yeah, that's Azumi and Natsupoi as a match.
I like it because Utami looked like she was having fun.
She did. She had Azumi up on her shoulders.
She looked like she was having fun with Azumi.
Yes,
and
she did.
you know, having them out there, the match is going to be amazing. You just can't get away from that.
No.
But you know, I'm all for it, man. That's some good stuff.
Yes, and there was that really funny moment where Natsupoi tried to copy them and get on Saori's shoulders.
Yeah.
And Saoriano's just like not having it.
Saoriano's just like, okay.
Yeah, she says like 2 words at a time.
I'm over it.
She's so funny. After that, we had our semi-main event where the Wonder of Stardom Championship was contested between Mirai and Konami in this sort of interfactionary God's Eye war that has been going. It's not a war. Konami just talked some shit, and Mirai wasn't happy about it.
So Konami effed around and found out.
She did, yes.
But let me tell you, to get there, Mirai had to find out.
Oh man, like she worked the crap out of her arm.
Jesus Christ.
Poor child.
I mean,
and Mirai's a southpaw, so
yeah, and Konami's scary.
She is. Like when she gets on you, she's like a dog that will not let up.
She is.
She's an attack dog and she's terrifying.
She's a scary looking bitch. I mean, she is. Like she just looks like she's like she don't have time for any bullshit. Like she's there to whip your ass.
Yes, and there were a couple times where Mirai took a spill on her head in this match, even to the outside, I'm pretty sure. And it was tense. Like this isn't one of those matches where we were like grabbing onto each other in excitement. We were like fixed on the TV waiting for something bad to happen.
Yeah, it was very tense, and I'm glad it ended the way it did.
Me
and maybe
too.
knock Konami down a few pegs, but I'm not so sure the way she looked afterwards.
Yeah, she did. She looked like she wasn't happy about the outcome.
One of the strangest things is when Sherry comes in the ring after this, you know, because her girls should be happy now.
Yeah, they're all happy and family.
They got this out of the way, but everything was fine with Konami, and she was kind of like shaking hands. Everything was fine.
She even gave the nod to Saki. She was like, why are you crying? It's fine.
Yeah. And then when Sherry came through the ropes, if you go back and watch, her Konami, her demeanor changed.
Yeah. She just got a little more reserved.
Almost like you shouldn't be leading this. I should be leading this.
She does seem to still have some questions.
Yeah, I feel that way.
About God's Eye. It wouldn't surprise me if she didn't last very long.
Yeah, no, I feel that there might be a challenge.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind to see Konami versus Sherry.
I wouldn't mind to see Sherry beat the shit out of Konami.
Yeah, I feel like this is my faction.
Yeah. But speaking of upcoming Sherry matches.
Oh, yeah. After this match, Sherry was like just throwing it out there. Like, I'd love to have a UWF rules match. You know? Yeah. And the craziest person answered that challenge, in my mind, Mina Shirakawa.
Right.
Who has been bragging apparently about her working on her leg locks and stuff.
So Mina Shirakawa and Sherry are apparently having a UWFI rules match.
Crazy.
And which, if you don't know, is more your shoot style match.
Yes.
And so we've got that to look forward to.
I think Sherry was just as confused. But she'll do it.
It's all right. It's going to be, maybe we're going to find out something about Shirakawa we didn't know.
Right. Maybe Mina just brings it.
Yeah.
Maybe she really has been practicing.
Yeah. So.
The main event was for the NJPW Strong Women's title. It was Julia.
And you were very excited about this because you love the story.
Yes. Julia versus Risa Sera. And of course, Risa Sera is from Hiroshima. She has ties to Suzu Suzuki from Prominence. She actually inspired Suzu to get into wrestling in a way. And that was kind of highlighted with her video where she talked about not really talking to Suzu since she left Prominence, and Suzu being in Julia's corner for this match, which was kind of insane to see. Because, I mean, Risa and Suzu have that deep connection where they did death matches together. Like, that's a different level of commitment, in my opinion. They both have those scars on their backs.
It is.
But Suzu has moved on to Stardom and to bigger things than Ice Ribbon and what Prominence was doing at the time. And of course, they had that whole battle with Donna Del Mondo. And I think Risa Sera and Julia have really formed a deep respect for each other since they started feuding. And in this match, it was a struggle from the get-go. Like, they power-wise, just move-wise, they just kept trying to overcome each other.
Right.
And of course, Julia did the shout-out. She did the Tiger Lily, which is the missile drop kick, and the package pile driver. You have to do them together.
Right.
Because it was Hana Kimura's birthday. And that was really beautiful. And she ended up getting the win over Risa Sera, but it was a hard-fought win.
Dude. Dude, I'm pretty sure that Sarah got knocked out
On an elbow.
Before this, like going into the closing of this match, and everything after that was very crazy looking.
It was. Julia was kind of leading her through the end of the match, but it still ended up looking really good. And
I can't wait to find out what happened.
And Suzu and Julia shook hands after the fact. They're actually teaming up in the Dream Tag Team show that's coming up next weekend. So I don't know if we'll see Risa Sarah again in Stardom anytime soon, or...
Well, Julia's doing this thing, and I don't think it's been pushed like that, but she's really fighting these top ladies from everywhere.
Yeah, and she actually called out people she wanted to fight. Deonna Purrazzo, which she's fought before, Toni Storm she mentioned, Mercedes Moné. Yeah. So she's ready for all the fights that you can throw at her. It's really cool. Because, you're right. She had Risa... Deonna and the other Impact girls. I mean... Yeah,
so, I think that you put some... maybe this upcoming pay-per-view from AEW that Tony Khan said, there's going to be Stardom featured on it.
Right.
October 1st in Seattle. Wrestle Dream. And it's for in honor of the first anniversary of Inoki's death. So you would think that it'll be fully represented, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What a great show to have the NJPW Strong title defended on.
And maybe, I don't know, maybe someone will be better by then and be able to...
Yeah.
But I love all these New Japan matches that Julia's been having. And it's kind of taken the place of the SWA title where you had to face someone of a different nationality than you, which Julia kind of has a leg up on that because she could just be like, I'm Italian.
Yeah.
So Japanese is different than...
I'm Italian, British, Russian...
So we have some pretty cool stuff coming up for Stardom in the next week or so.
Yes.
Starting with a normal 5-star match card on the 9th, where we'll see Sariano take on Mirai in a match that's sure to see someone get injured. I don't know. Starlight Kid versus Hazuki. Julia.
That'll be good.
Oh, this is a big one too because it's Korakuen, and this is the third installment of the Generational Struggle night.
My God.
So,
oh my God.
We have Julia versus Micah.
Yes.
And Tam Nakano versus Suzu Suzuki. And we were supposed to have Shiri versus Sayaka Mitani, but Shiri's just going to get her 2 points that night.
Right.
But so we have 2 out of the 3 Generational Struggle matches still. So that'll be interesting because they always show out when they're in Korakuen Hall. And Julia versus Micah I've been waiting to see.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And Tam versus Suzu is probably going to be amazing anyway.
I think so.
After that, the next night, we have the Dream Tag Festival.
Yes.
So it's starting off with a gauntlet tag with a couple of teams that I guess didn't get voted into the Dream Tag Team Festival. Koguma and Saya Ida, Megan Bain and Mei Seira, Waka Tsukiyama and Yuna Mizumori, Lady C and Miyu Amasaki, and Shiri and Ami Sori are all going to be in a gauntlet.
Yes.
Just for fun. And then we have our Dream Tag Team matches, made up of Momo Watanabe and Momo Kogo versus Hanan and Mirai May.
Team Momo.
Mirai and Mai Sakurai versus Rina and Hina.
Yes.
Natsuka Tora and Hazuki versus Ruaka and Nene Takahashi.
My God.
Tam Nakano and Mina Shirakawa versus Sarianu and Natsupoi, who are still both upset that they didn't get put in a dream tag team. They're just in their normal tag team. Julia and Suzu Suzuki versus Utami, Hayashishita, and Maika.
Yes.
And then Mayu Iwatani and Saki Kashima versus Azumi and Starlight Kid as the main event.
So weird.
It is weird. And of course they paired Mayu and Saki because of that whole Stars betrayal. And then after the night of the 3rd, we've confirmed for October 9th at Nagoya Golden Fight a couple of high-profile championship matches. Tam Nakano versus Natsuka Tora. I guess she's calling in her win over her already.
Right.
Natsupoi and Sarianu versus Azumi and Utami Hayashishita. High-speed championship, Saki Kashima versus Mei Seira.
Yeah, finally.
And a UWF rules match between Shiri and Mina Shirakawa. So those will be on October 9th. About a month away.
Yeah.
So that's some really exciting stuff.
That card is awesome.
Yeah. Then, of course, they'll add more matches to that as time goes on. But I'm excited to see Dream Tag Festival just for the fun of it. There's no tournament matches, but it's a fun thing.
Well, they have their fun things in between.
Yes.
And that's what's so cool. Another cool thing about Stardom is it's not all just that. It's having fun as well. That's part of what Stardom is.
Yes, and we're coming into the second half. We're going down the hill for the 5-star Grand Prix. Looking forward to that finale on September 30th.
Man, right now we got Tora sitting at 12 points.
She is leading the charge of both blocks right now.
Yeah, and Red, right behind her, got Poi at 9, but she has the win over Poi.
Yes, she does. She has a tiebreaker.
Yeah, so we got Sherry, Mayu, and Tam at 7. But you could look at that also, like Sherry has 9 because she hasn't had,
Yeah, she'll get 2 points
her
this
give
weekend.
me 2 points. And then you got at the bottom, you got Suzu and SLK, which is kind of a surprise with SLK.
It is. And
Hazuki, obviously, with 4. And Amishuri with 4.
Yes.
So, and then on the blue side, Blue Stars, we got the log jam.
Yeah.
You've
you've got a leader in Utami, but it's a slight lead at 8 points. Julia coming up behind her at 7. And then you just have 6 people with 6 points.
It's crazy.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah, Soriano, Momo, AZ, oh my God, Azumi.
Azumi, Mina Shirakawa.
Mina, take another shot. Mariah, that's, that's crazy. And
it's ridiculous.
5 point Micah and then 2 point Hanan.
I mean, they've got more people with more points than the other side.
Yeah.
But there's no clear leader
right
now.
All. Not at all. It's anybody's game right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got a full cavalcade of events to go before the finale. So
excitement.
I'm sure on the final night, we still won't know who's going to go to the final.
No.
They have their final tournament matches on the same night as the final match.
Absolutely. And I'm okay with that. It's exciting. We got a lot of excitement going on in the whole world of professional wrestling.
Yes.
Excited about what's coming up with AEW, see which directions they go with their stories.
Yes.
Even see, excitement.
Ending the brand split.
What they do if we get another cage match level, out of Trish and Becky and what's going on there. So there's a lot of stuff. Impact has some big events coming up and there's a lot of things going on. So
I am so excited, and I know you guys are too, because you have been so amazing over on social media. You can follow us on Facebook, on X, on Instagram. All Wrestling is Her, just sweet and simple. And we would love to hear your thoughts on all the recent stuff that's been going on in women's wrestling. Let us know if there's something you'd like to hear us talk about, if there are matches from the bygone eras that you'd like to hear us cover, do alternate commentary, that kind of thing. We're excited to dive more into the history and everything that we don't know about yet.
And our alternate commentary is going to be fun. Let me just go ahead and tell you that.
We're a little crazy.
Because when we actually launch that, when we launch our Patreon, because I'm no stranger to Patreon, when we launch it for this show, it's going to be worth it. It's going to be fun because we're going to, there's no wondering if we can say anything with F. So it's a whole different thing, especially watching these matches from yesteryear with a lot of drops on heads.
Oh, man. Yeah, there will be a lot of bombs happening.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you here next time when we talk about why wrestling is her. Bye.
Bye-bye.